So, the Chuds are pissed at Dodgers for some reason. The Los Angeles Dodgers, the baseball team. They've gone completely fucking nuts, and there was this massive protest at Dodger Stadium with thousands of people, which looked like that. I don't know, maybe I couldn't tell exactly how many there were, but it kind of looked like a shitload of people, at least a couple thousand, right? What the hell is going on with the Dodgers? Why are all the ConservaChuds all pissed off at a baseball team? It's because the Dodgers had the audacity to hold a Pride Night, and they invited a group called the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence and gave them an award. So who exactly are the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence? Well, they're a LGBTQ advocacy group who have basically spent years and years basically fighting for trans rights, specifically gay rights and trans rights. And now they're getting an award from the Dodgers. The Dodgers have basically decided to give them an award. And that caused all of the Catholics in Los Angeles to lose their fucking minds. Now, all of you out there who think that everyone who lives in Los Angeles is a lefty, tree-hugging liberal, you are mistaken. That is not true at all. You know, California in general, yes, tends to be much more left-leaning. I mean, democratic, but liberal is not the same thing as progressive. Got to keep that in mind. There are plenty of bigotry and hatred coming from liberals too, especially when it comes to gay and trans people. That's just the truth. You know, there are people out there who think, for example, that somebody like me is just as bad as if not worse than, say, your average Republican or Trump supporter, because I'm not like a communist. Right? You know, because they say that I'm like a fence sitter. I enable them and shit like that. It's like, I don't enable nobody, but still, you know, that's their opinion and they're welcome to it. They can think whatever they want. So, yeah, that's basically what happened. Thousands and thousands of people hanging out outside of Dodger Stadium protesting. We've got some footage here. Let's go ahead and turn our laptop back on. Okay, this is, if we can just cue this up. In fact, you know what? This is from somebody named Sarah Hernandez. No idea who Sarah Hernandez is. Breaking. Thousands of Catholics have shut down the main entrance to Dodger Stadium and Vin Scully Avenue in protest of Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence being honored tonight. They are now lining the sidewalks and have taken over the entire block. So you can kind of see here. We can play this. This is only 45 seconds long. Quite a lot of people. I mean, I'd say at least a couple thousand. Now, it didn't look like that much, but you can't really see how deep that goes. So, does it go all the way back? I don't know. Right. But at least a couple thousand. You notice they're holding signs of Jesus, stop anti-Catholic hate, stuff like that. Right. I don't see. Here's the thing about this, right? The Sisters of Perpetual Justice. Let's turn off the audio, but keep playing, just so you can see them. It's not a hate group. They're basically a group. They dress up in nun habits. They're like drag queens, essentially, and they dress up in like nun habits, right? All right, let's get rid of this shit. Here's some more. This is some footage of some actual protesters. Quiet. Of like a priest or some shit. Right. Here we go. Jewish rabbi. Okay, if you're anti-Catholic, you're anti-religion, you're anti-God, I got a problem with that. A Jewish rabbi speaks in solidarity with Catholics outside of Dodger Stadium. The crowd has exponentially grown in size, and more people are still continuing to arrive.
And if you're anti-Catholic, you're anti-religion, you're anti-God. I got a problem with that.
Okay.
A little over 2,000 years ago, There was a Rabbi Hillel. He said, if I am not for myself, who will be for me?
Yeah, kind of a lot. I mean, you can kind of see, like, here, I don't think it's thousands. It looks kind of more to me like this. It may be like 1,000, you know,
If I am not for myself.
looking at all this. But here's the thing with that, right? I got a problem with that if you're anti-Catholic, if you're anti-religion. I say fuck your religion. That's what I say. I am anti-Catholic. All right. And I'm allowed to say that because I'm actually like supposed to be a Roman Catholic. I was like baptized as a Roman Catholic. So, yeah, I say fuck Catholicism because Catholicism is one of, especially if all these people who are talking about like, child abuse and crap like that and like child sexual abuse and grooming of children, that kind of thing. The Catholic Church is like probably the largest institution on earth that is guilty of more child sex rings than anything else like in the world, right? So fuck you. Like that's the thing they always say like this, we're just here to protect the little baby children. We have to stop the children from being groomed or all that shit. It's like no, the Catholic fucking Church grooms children, right? They abuse children. They sexually abuse children, and they have been doing it for fucking decades. Okay. So, yeah. And here's the other thing, right? If you're anti Catholic, you're anti religion, you're anti God. I have a problem with that. Well, I don't give a fuck if you have a problem or not, because we live in a secular country. People keep, lately, they keep forgetting that. It doesn't matter what your religion is. It doesn't matter what your religion says. It doesn't matter what your holy book says. I could give a fuck. I don't care if I don't give a shit what the Bible says, right? That's the law says you're not allowed to impose your religion on anyone else. So if these people want to come and they want to dress up in nun habits and get an award, you have absolutely fuck all to say about that. And if you don't, the correct response is that if you don't like it, go fuck yourself. That's the correct response, right? I don't know all this. You have to be sensitive and all this. Fuck no, no you don't. No you don't. You don't have to be sensitive to any of this stuff. You don't have to like, no, no. You're allowed to say whatever you want to say. And the correct response is that if you don't like it, I will bend over and then you can kiss my fucking big hairy butt cheeks. That's the correct response. The correct response is get the fuck out, suck my dick. I'm going to say what I want to say. Blow me. Right? And you are not going to do anything about it. You're not allowed to get the cops to come and arrest me. You can stand outside with your dumbass signs and claim all the shit that you want and say whatever you want. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. You can exercise your freedom of speech in opposition of my freedom of speech, but that's where it ends. And I don't give a fuck if you got a problem with it. Suck my dick. That's the correct response. Here's another one here. This is from Sarah Hernandez. Thousands of Catholics now marching towards the front of Dr. Stadium chanting "Save Our Children." Catholic organizers shared they wanted to make a stand for Christ where everyone could see them. Let's make this a little bit bigger so that you can read these signs. See these things where it says, "Leave our kids alone, save our children, stop this over here," right? Stop this heinous attack on religion. Stop this attack on religion. What does that mean? How are you attacking religion by parodying them? Basically, that's what it is. The Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence are doing a parody of a religion by dressing up in nun outfits. They're making fun of your religion. How's that an attack? What is somebody going and arresting you because you're a Catholic? Are they going and burning your church down? Are they doing that? Are they stealing all of the gold in your church and melting it down and giving it to the poor like they should be doing? Right? Keep in mind that the Catholic Church is probably the richest institution out there. Like, they probably have the most money out of any, like, non-governmental institution. I mean, if you can even call them that. Because remember, the Vatican is like a country. The Vatican is like its own separate fucking country. So, can you even call them a non-governmental institution? I mean, I don't know. It's not like Scientology is its own fucking country. It's not like, it's not like Islam, has their own fucking country that's like recognized by the United Nations and shit like that. It's not like Buddhism has their own country. I mean, seriously. It's like this is the most powerful religion like in the world with like the most adherents in possibly in the world. There are more Catholics than I mean, if you take denominations of religions as their own separate thing, there are probably more Catholics than any other religion out there. That is to say, like, there's more Catholics than any other specific dominant denomination of Christians or denomination of Muslims or denomination of Buddhists. Although I think there are actually more Muslims now than I think Islam is the most populous religion on earth at this moment. I don't know. I'm not really sure. It was last time I checked. I don't know. It could be still, but if you were to take it by denomination, I'm pretty sure Catholics, like there are more Roman Catholics on earth than like anywhere than any other. So no, this is not some weak ass little like fly by night fucking church that's like renting out a rec room and shit in order to have it. No. No. This is an institution with billions upon billions upon billions of dollars and billions of followers in every country on earth practically, with the exception of probably North Korea. Right? Who have unlimited money and resources and who have for decades been covering up an epidemic of child sexual abuse for fucking decades, for who knows even how long. Here's another one. Let's see here. Let's get rid of this shit. This is from Rosie May. I don't know who Rosie May is. I get the feeling that Rosie May is just some rando on the internet. Catholic procession going on right now at Dodger Stadium. Sorry, I'm no longer a Dodger fan, or MLB fan for that matter. That is, baseball isn't all about baseball anymore. It's about politics. Please boycott. I like her sign here. Mocking faith is not an expression. Not an expression. An expression of what? I mean, I guess they're talking about the First Amendment freedom of expression. That's what I get out of that. Am I wrong here? Is she trying to say that mocking faith is not protected by the First Amendment? It's not protected by freedom of expression? Right? That is complete and total horseshit. The mocking of anything is specifically protected. In fact, by the First Amendment. In fact, there are court cases saying that it is protected speech in order to do a parody of something, in order to mock certain things, in order to make fun of stuff. That is protected speech. In order to be critical of institutions like churches, that is 100% protected speech. I'll take the Pepsi challenge on that shit any day of the week. Debate me. I will fucking murder you. Debate me. I will destroy you. I will crush you under my heel. Because I'm 100% correct on that. Fuck you. Suck my dick. Get out of my face with this bullshit. That's where they're going with this, folks. That's what they want to do. I mean, remember, these are religious people. They'll take away your rights in a nanosecond. If she had the opportunity, this person, Rosie May, would back a law saying you're not allowed to mock faith. Mock what faith? And then who gets to decide what mocking faith actually means? Is it if you just say anything that's contrary to what they believe? Is that mocking their faith? There are countries on this earth that are like that, where you're not allowed to mock the prevalent faith of the citizens of that country, Saudi Arabia, for example. Afghanistan. These are the places where you'll get beheaded for being an apostate. Saudi Arabia will fucking, behead people for witchcraft, for fuck's sake. That's what it looks like when a religion is in control of the country. right? When you don't have a secular government, where it's the environment where mocking faith is not considered free expression. So yeah, fuck Rosie May and everyone who looks like Rosie May. Now I want to, because the whole thing they say here, oh, it's all about politics. It's all here to defend the children. We just saw those people marching saying, let's fucking defend the, we have to save our children. Let's look at some stats on clergy abuse. This is from the Rosefield Injury Lawyers. Some interesting stats I found on abuse by the clergy members. I'm not going to read through this entire thing because it's pretty long and it talks about, sexual predators in the Roman Catholic Church. But let's read through some of these stats here. Okay, some clergy abuse statistics involving sexual predators in the Catholic Church. 2002, the Conference of Catholic Bishops contracted the John Jay College of Criminal Justice to study over 11,000 allegations of sexual misconduct involving nearly 4,400 Catholic priests in the U.S. 11,000 folks in 2002. That is 21 years ago. There were 11,000. John Jay report identified approximately 4% of all active Catholic priests in the U.S. between 1950 and 2002 had been accused of sexual abuse of minors. That's in 2001, please remember. By 2008, John Jay report added hundreds more to the names of the list of the accused Catholic priests, deacons, and other living and deceased religious leaders, totaling 5,375 accused predators, including many that have been a part of the church's cover-up. 5,375 Catholic priests, deacons, and other living and deceased religious leaders. By 2008. Right, that's 15 years ago. Actually, is it 15 years? 10? Yeah, 15 years ago, exactly. How many more since then, right? 2009, J Report added 286 more names, Catholic priests to their sexual predator list, including many that have been part of the church's cover-up. April 2021, Santa Fe Archdiocese revealed they were selling off over 700 properties later in the year to initiate a settlement fund to resolve approximately 400 sex molestation lawsuits. Right? People who are suing, by the way, because the statute of limitation had run out, and so they could no longer be criminally prosecuted for these things, because these molestation things happen when they're children, and there's a certain window of time, and if you don't get to it within that window of time, then they don't go to jail. So the vast majority of these 5,375 priests and deacons and other people have gotten away with it scot-free, have never been held accountable by the law, right? And these are the only ones they've been able to like uncover. There's probably how many more where people just didn't come forward. They were too ashamed to come forward because, lo and behold, being a Catholic, shame is something that you're very familiar with. It's like, oh, you tempted the evil priest, you tempted the priest somehow with your 8-year-old body or some shit. Right. I'm like an ex-Catholic. So, then again, I never really went to church and shit, so I avoided all this crap. But still, I understand what guilt has to do with my religion, my supposed religion. Right. April 2021, 5 men and women filed a lawsuit in federal court claiming sexual predators victimized them years ago on Rhode Island and New Hampshire at schools operated by the Legion of Christ. February 2021, 145 sexually abused survivors harmed when children negotiated a $21.5 million settlement with the Minnesota Diocese of Winona-Rochester. 2004, Louisville, Kentucky, attorney filed a civil lawsuit against the Vatican, claiming the church leaders organized a cover-up of 3 male sex offenders harming children as far back as the 1920s. And the U.S. Court of Appeals denied the Catholic Church's claim of sovereign immunity, allowing the case to move forward. Why would they try to claim sovereign immunity? Sovereign immunity is basically like if you're a king, that means you get to do whatever you want, right? Or if you're like the official, like, that's what they say, sovereign immunity. Basically saying that, yeah, we're not held under the laws of the United States. And it's like, no, fuck you, you are. Look at that, folks. As far back as the 1920s. Kind of makes you think, how long has this been going on? Obviously, it's not a new phenomenon. I mean, it may have been going on for fucking hundreds, if not thousands of years. Remember, the Roman Catholic Church is the original church. Right? Founded by Paul. These are the OGs. How long have they been abusing kids? 500 years? 1,000 years? 2,000 years? Here's some other statistics here, talking about all of the awards that they've been giving. $11 million here, $175 million there, $2.4 million here or there, whatever. Here's a bunch of allegations, but you get the point, right? We don't need to read through every single one of these. You get the point, folks. Now, have drag queens been abusing children since the 1920s? Is there a $175 million settlement from trans people grooming children? No. I mean, if you're really, really concerned about your children being safe, kind of seems like the people you should be concerned about are the ones walking around with Bibles and not the ones flashing their boobs at the White House. I mean, if you really cared, if that's what you were really concerned about, that just kind of seems logical to me, doesn't it? Hypocrites. Every last fucking one of them. Hello folks, if you like what I do and you want to support the channel, please consider buying something from my Etsy shop, supporting me on Patreon, liking and subscribing, and checking me out across my social media links listed below. Thank you all so much, and see you next time.